to GitProtect, you can increase the security level instance or instances. And after the, let's say, theoretical part, I'm going to give you some short demo, like live demo, so you can experience how GitProtect looks, how easy it is to create a backup environment, how easy it is to to set up the backup jobs, to set up the backup tasks, and hopefully we will be able also to restore the data, because this is all about, like, we like to say that backup is only half of success. The bigger half, the more important one, is the ability to restore the data. So hopefully my screen is already visible to you, and what I'm going to do is, as I said, very brief presentation, very brief introduction, and let's start from the very beginning. So let's answer the question, like, who we are. To make long story short, we are Zopro Software, XOPERO, and we are one of the biggest European backup solution producer. And among others, we provide GitProtect as a backup tool, as a backup platform, as a backup product dedicated to DevOps. And as I said, today we are going to discuss Jira backup best practices. If you guys are interested in getting more details, in getting more content, feel free to drop me an email. My email address is already visible on the screen right now. If you would like to discuss how to protect your Jira, how to protect your Bitbucket ecosystems, I would say that I'm quite proper person to discuss it. So do not hesitate to drop me an email after today's meeting. When it comes to our heritage, our history, as I said at the beginning, we are one of the biggest European backup solution producer. The company itself, Zopro Software or GitProtect, I will be mixing these two names, but basically Zopro Software and GitProtect, this is the same team, the same group of people, the same technology, the same platform. So as I said at the beginning, Zopro Software, aka GitProtect, as a company, has been established in 2009, which means that right now we have way over 10 years of experience, almost 15 years of experience in backup technologies, in backup products. Since the very beginning, we've been on backup market, and basically we know the drill, and we know how to do backup, and we know how to provide such reliable and comprehensive backup solutions to our customers. Our team consists of 50 plus people. We are still gradually growing. Our products in plural, because we, as I said, we provide not only GitProtect. GitProtect will be something that we will be discussing today, but basically we provide also some different backup tools, different backup products for customers on each continent. And obviously, the group of our users is also constantly expanding. GitProtect itself, as a product, as a platform, has been released in 2021, so more or less 2 years ago. And since that time, we managed to deploy GitProtect to multiple customers all over the world, small, medium, and I would say quite big ones, from business sector as well as from governmental or public sector as well. So going straight to the main topic, right now, as you can see, I would like to, in few words, I would like to explain you why Jira should be protected, why Jira is not protected by default, and how you can achieve this goal. So why backup? Why backup Jira? Basically, like the answer is very straightforward, and the answer from our perspective, the answer is quite clear. All customers, all users should protect Jira because Jira itself is not protected at all. Atlassian works accordingly to so-called shared responsibility model, and I'm quite sure that you guys are aware what shared responsibility model. Nevertheless, for those of you who don't know, let me, like, in few words, explain what's that. Basically, shared responsibility model is as follows. Atlassian, as a vendor, takes only responsibility for the service, for the account. Atlassian grants you the access to your account, to your service, and when it comes to the responsibility on their side, on their end, is to keep the service up and running, no matter what. And that's it. However, when it comes to data, the content of your account, the data you store there, and all additional like metadata, basically it's your business, right? So Atlassian, Atlassian doesn't take any responsibility for any data loss. And basically, after some period of time, Atlassian won't be able to restore your data if such data is deleted by accident or intentionally, or such data is, let's say, affected by ransomware. Obviously, there is Atlassian provides some grace period during which you are able to restore the data, but once it's passed, you are not able to restore the data. That is why usually vendors, they even suggest to use third-party application for backup purposes. And it applies not only to Atlassian. Basically the same rule, the same model, the same policy applies to different SaaS vendors, like Microsoft. If you use Microsoft 365 applications, the same model, the same policy applies. If you use Bitbucket, the same story. Bitbucket and Jira are provided by the same vendor. If you use GitHub, if you use GitLab, if you use any other SaaS application, I'm quite sure that shared responsibility model is also in place. So vendors like Atlassian, they also recommend like using third-party application to protect all the data that you store there, because they simply don't take any responsibility for that. So I would say that this is like the main reason why Jira should be protected. And obviously there are like multiple other reasons, like for example data loss, data deletion by like accidental or intentional, and so on and so on. But like the main, number one is shared responsibility. That is why, like some time ago, we decided to provide a backup tool for DevOps. Because as I said at the beginning, we were providing some different backup tools for endpoint protection, for Microsoft 365 protection, also for virtual machines, databases, backup, and so on and so on. But we noticed that there is like a niche on the market, and we decided to fulfill such empty space. And then we decided to create a backup product that will fulfill such requirement. And what we have done is that we started to create GitProtect as a like one unified backup solution for DevOps that is able to cover I don't want to say all of like services, but most of important ones, from the top to the bottom. What does it mean? It means that we protect not only the accounts itself, exactly as Atlassian does, but also we protect and we allow our users to restore the content of Jira instance and the content of Bitbucket ecosystem, including repositories and metadata and so on and so on. As you can see on the screen right now, like the scope of protection is quite wide, and thanks to that, you can definitely increase the security level. You can elevate it to the maximum. Today, we are going to focus on Jira backup best practices. So basically, we can put to the shelf the rest of the slides of GitHub, Bitbucket, and GitLab. During today's meeting, we are not going to discuss it. Basically, Jira. This is something that we are most interested in today. So, what are the best practices when it comes to Jira backup? Obviously, there is like a bunch of best practices that we can suggest, we can recommend. Obviously, every single case is different, but I decided that definitely we need to, put all the puzzles into one piece and to decide what are the most important best practices that usually we recommend to our users, and how they can use GitProtect in order to fulfill those requirements. Basically, this list is not finished one. As I said, every single case is different one. So the best practice, the set of best practices that may apply to one user won't work in another case. So, as I said, every single case is a little bit different. That is why I decided to divide these best practices into like 4 sections, into 4 let's say topics. And backup performance is like number 1 in my opinion. Why is that? Because basically Atlassian or Jira itself allows you to create the snapshot, I would say, or it allows you to create a copy of your instance once every 48 hours, right? So you are able to create one backup, one copy, one snapshot, one replica of your data, of your instance, of your account, with all metadata that is associated every 48 hours. That's okay, but as I said, every single case is different. And to be honest with you, I'm not really able to imagine the situation when like medium or within medium or big environment, such backup frequency is enough. Based on my own experience, like based on my own discussions with different users, usually they require to get the ability to perform backup even more frequent. So like, and this is like from backup performance perspective, this is very important, like ability to be able to create the backup as often as possible, because basically your environment best way, so you can easily decide how often such backup copy should be done. You should have you should be able to have an impact on backup frequency. You should be able to modify it. You should be able to decide when specific backup is going to be done, because sometimes like single backup every 48 hours is simply not enough. And in case of data loss, it may turn out that like the version that you are able to restore is simply too old to be useful. That is why we decided to let our users modify the backup frequency as they wish, and basically like the sky is the limit, and there is no limitation from our perspective how often backup should be done. Then, like when it comes to backup performance, GitProtect also allows you to fulfill, let's say, golden rule of backup. What does it mean? It means that like golden 3-to-1 rule of backup. What does it mean? Basically, it means that you, as a user, you should have at least 3 copies of your data in 2 different locations. However, one of those locations should be outside your company, and only such combination, such scenario will guarantee you that your data will be accessible no matter what happens. And if, for example, something really bad happens to your main organization, to your main storage, to your main location, you still have an access to your own data from different locations. And this specific goal can be achieved in at least two ways. You can obviously perform a couple of backups, several backups, and let's say backup number 1 will be sent to location number 1, backup number 2 will be sent to location number 2, and so on and so on. However, based on my own experience, more efficient way is to create storage replica, the storage replication. What does it mean? It means that you can perform only one backup, one backup process, and such backup process will go to one location, to your one storage. Nevertheless, storage location is also based on your own decision, and then the storage itself can be replicated. So the in simple words, data can jump from one storage to another, from another to another, and so on and so on. So basically, GitProtect is equipped with some tools, thanks to which you can create, or you can fulfill the golden rule of backup, which is called 3-to-1 backup rule. So we keep 3 different copies, 3 different versions of your data in 2 different locations, and at least one of them is located outside your company. As I said at the beginning, the backup process, the backup itself is only half of success. The less important one, I would say, the more important half of success is to be able to restore the data. And the worst case scenario is when your Jira instance is not available. If Atlassian region is facing some outage, again, the probability of that is extremely low, but still there is, right? So there is little tiny chance of some outage. However, there are also some different threats. By that I mean your account can be corrupted. You can simply lose the access to your instance, and so on and so on. In that situation, in that case, now we talk about disaster recovery, and this is basically the second part or second aspect of best practices. When it comes to disaster recovery, you as a user, you should be able to restore the data to different locations. Because restoring the data to the same location, to the same Jira instance, to the same account, this is obvious, right? You protect, you back up one environment, and basically you can restore it to the same location. That's okay. But the fun part begins in a situation when your main environment is not available because you lost the access to it, Atlassian is facing some outage, and so on and so on. So in that situation, you should be able to perform so-called disaster recovery plan. That should include the ability of restoring the data to different location. And by different location, I mean different Jira instance. So you can you can create an alternative account, an alternative instance to which you can restore the data with or without users. It's also up to you. But also, you can simply download your Jira to your local device, and then you can make the manual import to your Jira manually. So as you can see, like we allow the customers, the users to be quite flexible. I would say during the restore process. So the default scenario is the restore process to the same location. The more advanced one is the option with manual import, and the most, let's say, advanced scenario is the ability to restore the data to different instance, to different organization. So we can also consider it as the process of migrating the data from one location to another. And when it comes to security aspect, and basically this is also very super important, this is super crucial, to know that backup tool that you use protects your data on every single stage, on every single step of backup process, because backup process doesn't end with the end of backup task, because from our based on our understanding, the backup process or the backup itself means also data that is stored on the storage. That is why we decided also to include some mechanisms that protect the data that is stored already on the storage, including encryption, as you can see. So this is the best practice that we should also follow, and we should also implement to backup environment. What's more important, this is very interesting part, is that GitProtect works accordingly to so-called zero-knowledge encryption technology. What does it mean? It means that all data are encrypted with your own encryption key. So you are the holder of an encryption key, or keys, because you can use multiple ones. However, the application that is responsible for performing the backup doesn't contain the information about encryption key all the time. Such device, such application receives it only while performing the backup or while performing the restore process. So it also helps us to elevate the security level of entire process, as well as allowing you to get an access to your application, to GitProtect, with your IDPS system. So if you use some external identity provider services like Azure AD, Okta, CyberArk, OneLogin, or similar, a solution that can be integrated via SAML, it also can be integrated with GitProtect. So we can manage the access to the application using your own IDPS system. And basically, we also help customers to become compliant with SOC 2 and or ISO 27001 by providing them the guarantee that their data are well protected. They have full access to the audit logs, so they have an access to the entire history of what was happening inside GitProtect system. We also provide some SLA reports, and obviously this is quite from our perspective this is quite obvious, but some users, they already let us know that it's not that obvious that backup tool sends some notification. So if the question would be, does GitProtect send the email notification? Yes, we do send the email notification after each backup, so you have a proof that backup is done and what's the result of it. But we are also we are not only providing the email notifications, we also provide Slack notifications. So if you use Slack, you can create a separate channel, and there you can receive all the notifications, as well as we can use the webhooks. So all the notifications can be sent outside GitProtect, for example, to solution like Datadog or similar. So if you prefer to receive notification to your own, let's say, monitoring system, that's also possible to create, to set up such integration. And as I said before, GitProtect protects data on every single step, including storage. This is very important because we have, like, during the conversation with customers, with users, we found out that maybe not quite often, but sometimes it happens that one of our customers' employee included some executable file to metadata as an attachment and so on. By executable file, I mean ransomware, obviously. And what was the result? The result was that the data have been encrypted with ransomware, even the data on the storage. That is why those customers decided to start looking for like backup tool or backup system that would prevent such situation. And they found out that basically GitProtect allows you to protect data also on the storage by keeping the data in unexecutable format. What does it mean? It means that during the backup process, GitProtect performs some so-called or some sort of encryption mechanism in the background. So we encrypt data, we compress data, we cut all the data to the chunks. And what is the result? The result is that the data that is stored on the storage is kept in unexecutable, in unreadable format. So even if there would be some executable file associated to metadata as an attachment, for example, such executable file wouldn't be executed on the storage. So as you can see, we protect data on every single step, including the very last step. By that I mean the storage. So we can like be sure that even if anyone unentitled would get an access to your storage, for example, to your S3 bucket, obviously such person, such bad actor would be able to grab your data, but such data wouldn't be like such person wouldn't be able to get an access to the content of it because of compression, because of encryption, and because of some other encryption mechanism that were happening in the background. So we keep data safe on every single step. And when it comes to best practices, I believe that was it. And if you guys are interested in participating in live demo, this is the proper time. Obviously, feel free to drop me a question on chat section, and I don't see any questions yet. Hopefully, some questions will appear. In the meantime, I highly recommend visit GitProtect. Here you can find a lot of, well, quite interesting informations, details about GitProtect, including, if you scroll down to the very bottom of the page, here you can find Jira backup best practices. Basically, this is our knowledge, this is our experience. We share it for free, so feel free to learn more about Jira backup best practices even after today's meeting. Obviously, GitProtect.io allows you to create a trial license, trial account. So if you would like to put the hands on the product itself, feel free to create an account. It's for free for 2 weeks, so we can elevate, so we can evaluate the product on your own. You can, as I said, put the hands on the product and play a little bit with it totally for free. So as I said, I strongly recommend, I strongly encourage you to do so. Obviously, I already have my account created before our meeting, and so I'm not going to create such account one more time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get an access to my application, to my account. As you can see, like web browser, right? So basically, the web browser is the only thing I need to have. Well, besides internet connection, obviously, because GitProtect is delivered to you guys as a SaaS application. That means that everything that is required to run the system is hosted in our cloud environment. When it comes to our cloud environment, that cloud environment is available in 2 different regions, in 2 different locations. One of them is located here in Europe, to be more specific, in Netherlands, and the second one is located in US. So if you prefer to host your accounts within US soil, that's also available. Feel free to do so. So let me drop an access to my account. As you can see, I'm using some old-fashioned password manager. Nevertheless, you can also get insight to your application using your own, for example, Atlassian credentials or Microsoft credentials, or any other, if you prefer to use SSO. So let me log in. And there we go. I'm using this account for demo purposes. So it can be messy in some places. By that, I mean, for example, here, because here there is like compliance section that shows the most, from our perspective, from our point of view, the most important aspects of backup environment that should be set up, that should be enabled, that should be switched on. So we can also consider this as a, let's say, the checklist of best practices. So you should protect all of your resources. Hopefully it's visible to you guys. If it's not, please believe me that there is compliance section. So you should protect all of your resources. So if you, for example, you add your Jira instance to GitProtect, however, you won't set up any backup task. So you just add it and leave it as it is without scheduling any backup. GitProtect will notify you by saying, hey, there is some resource that is not protected. Keep an eye on it and be sure that you protect all of your resources. Also, GitProtect verifies the SLA from last 24 hours. Also, we check if the encryption is enabled. As I said, security is quite hot topic. And from our perspective, encryption is one of the most important best practice that should be implemented to backup environment. GitProtect, keep in mind, please bear in mind that GitProtect is not a synchronization tool, right? So we are not copying and pasting your data from one place to another, from one location to another. GitProtect is a backup tool. That means that we process the data, we encrypt the data, among others. We encrypt the data. That is why, from our perspective, this is one of the most essential feature, encryption. So if you would like to be sure that your data is totally safe and there is no way of letting anyone unentitled to your data, to the content of your data, encryption should be switched on. Replication, as I said, the golden rule of backup, 3 to 1, 3 versions, 3 copies of your data, 2 different locations, at least one of those locations should be outside your company. And as I said, one of the way to fulfill this requirement is to set up the replication, so the data will be jumping from one location to another. And at the end of the day, thanks to only one backup process, for example, one backup process, one backup task, your data will be kept in 2 different or 3 different, 4 different locations. It's up to you. Basically, you can keep your data in unlimited number of storages if you wish. And also,
sorry, how does the process of the encryption work?
Basically, we are using AES algorithm, and such encryption is done on source. As I said, the application that is responsible for backup process, restore process, is hosted in our cloud environment. So everything, as I said, everything you need to perform the backup is already there. So every single GitProtect account is equipped with all this entire set of tools thanks to which backup process is possible, including encryption. And as I said, encryption is done on source, on the backup agent. We call it backup agent. This is like a separated application, separated, let's say, device in our cloud environment, thanks to which you can encrypt your data. Such encryption is done based on your own encryption key using AES algorithm. And once encryption is done, this is the right time to send data to the storage. We are not sending the data before encryption is done. So even if there is like man in the middle during the transition from the backup agent to the storage, and even if such man in the middle would grab the data, still such data is like useless because it's like chopped and it's encrypted, it's compressed, and so on and so on. Is it the answer to your question?
Thank you. Yeah, it does. Thank you very much.
Okay. And also, when it comes to compliance section, we also suggest to set up notification and reports, because we divided this part into two separate sections. So notifications after every single backup is done, and reports, including, for example, daily report that gives you the information about all the backups, all the activities from last 24 hours that is sent to you on daily basis, once a day at selected time slot. So let me start protecting my data. And if I go to DevOps, one of my Jira instance is already here. Nevertheless, I can create a backup plan, because like this specific Jira instance is already being backed up, so I'm already protecting my this specific Jira instance. In a second, I'm going to show you how you can add the new one, how you can like execute the backup, and how you can restore the data. So let's use this specific example. My Jira is already here, and what I'm going to do is to create a new backup, because as I said, you can like easily decide how often backup is going to be done, what are the retention settings, what is the compression level, what is the encryption level, because you can also decide like what is the encryption chain length or the bit chain length, and so on and so on. So as I said, you have an impact on like many aspects of backup process itself. Obviously, we need to put some backup task name. So let's call it Atlassian Community webinar. Then we can, well, I have only one Jira instance, so I don't have much to choose from. So let me select what will be protected. Here you can like verify what kind of resources will be included to the backup process itself. Also, Jason, answering your question or like expanding the answer to your question, because as I said, by default, GitProtect account, GitProtect service is already delivered to you with all the components that are needed to run the backup. However, we also have like multiple customers, multiple users who prefer to perform the backup process using their own resources. What does it mean? It means that they prefer not to use the backup agent that is hosted in our cloud environment, but instead of that, they prefer to use their own backup agent. So the encryption will be done within their own organization, within their own physical organization. So, for example, they can deploy their own backup agent on their own device. By device, I mean like computer, PC, or any other device with Windows, Linux, or even Mac OS operating system. And such backup agent is also called worker because its nature. And if you prefer to like use different worker, so you prefer to perform the encryption within your own organization on your own device, you can also select it here, so we can be sure that encryption process will be done on your own device. And again, once encryption is done, data is sent to the storage, to the selected storage. So you, like as I said, you have an impact on every single step during the backup. And as we speak about storage, this is the place where you can like decide where your data goes. As I said, you can keep your data in multiple locations, in multiple places, using multiple storages. As you can see here, I'm using my GitProtect account is, my GitProtect account is equipped with 2 separate storages. Both of them are cloud storages. This one is provided by default because GitProtect also provides unlimited cloud storage, which is also hosted in 2 different regions of your choice. One of them is located in Europe, within European Union. The second one is located in US. It's unlimited, it's included. However, it's optional to use. If you prefer to use this one, feel free to do so. Nevertheless, if you prefer not to use GitProtect cloud storage, it's not obligatory, and then you can bring your own one. As I did here, I've added my own Wasabi, my own personal Wasabi account, my own personal Wasabi bucket to the system, so I can decide where data goes. So let me do this, and let me decide how often backup is done, how often backup is triggered. And for example, we can decide that full copy will be done on, I don't know, 2nd day of every single month at selected time slot. However, the incremental copy, because this is also very important to be able to perform the backup in 2 different ways, at least 2 different ways, full, incremental, and sometimes it's also suggested to perform differential backup. So as you can see, the full copy is done on monthly basis, on 2nd day of each month. But incremental copy, here the fun part begins, because we can like, it's up to you how often such incremental copy will be done. Like, I don't see any obstacle why it wouldn't be possible to make such backup, for example, every 2 hours, right? So every 2 hours, backup will be triggered automatically. So you don't have to memorize it. You don't have to create any additional scripts and so on and so on. Everything works as automated way as possible. So let's save it. And encryption, we need to enable the encryption. And as I said, we need to create an encryption key. Here, I'm not providing the encryption key. I'm providing the phrase based on which the encryption key will be created. So and like all the passwords, all the like access keys and so on, all the confidential data is kept in built-in password manager. This is also a component of GitProtect. Nevertheless, quite soon we are also going to allow our users to use some external password managers like Azure Vault or KMS. So it will be possible to keep all the secrets, all the encryption keys outside GitProtect. So let's call it Atlassian Community webinar. Let's save it. And we will switch the email notification on. Let's provide the recipient. And let's decide that I would like to be notified about, let's say, the positive results as well as tasks, the tasks that failed, and that's it. So let's save, and save and run, right? So let me open my Jira. As you can see, I have only, like, as I said, again, I'm using some dump. So the content of my Jira is doesn't really matter. I'm showing you only the steps that you need to take in order to protect your Jira. As you can see, I have only 6 projects. And once my Jira is when it comes to for your information, when it comes to, let's say, granularity of backup process and restore process, today we protect entire Jira instance, and when it comes to restore process, we also restore entire Jira instance. So today it's not possible, unfortunately, to select what data will be restored. So if you would like to restore your data, you need to restore entire Jira instance to the same account or different one. But quite soon, I believe it should be available around mid of June, so quite soon. The restore process will be improved, will be done in a more granular way. So you will be able to select what projects, what issues, what attachments, and what workflows will be included to or excluded from the restore process. So there won't be a need to restore entire Jira instance. You will be able to select, okay, I would like to restore this, and this project to this location, and that's it. And all the rest won't be restored. So we are going to improve this process quite soon. Getting back to live demo, as you can see, I have projects here, and I have 6 projects. Come on. As I said, I'm using some dummy account, so the content of my Jira doesn't really matter as much as the flow of backup and restore process. So now let's assume that this specific Jira instance is not available. I lost the access to it. It has been corrupted. Something really bad happened in it. Right? So what do we do? As you probably remember, one of the best practice was the ability to restore the data to different location, to different destination, right? What does it mean? It means that you can simply add to GitProtect. You can add different Jira instance, empty one, and you can use it as a restore destination. How are we gonna do that? It's quite easy. To be honest, we just need to, what was the name of the instance? Okay, I'm grabbing the access to my password manager because we need to provide the URL of the instance that I'm going to add. When it comes to login, it's my username, right? Then we need to generate a token, personal access token, because we need to prove that we are entitled to integrate GitProtect with the Jira. And in order to generate a token, we need to generate a new one. And in a second, okay. Okay, and such token should space it here. Okay, and proceed. And we are good to go, right? So what I've done is I protected my, let's say, main Jira instance. However, as I said, let's assume that my main Jira instance, this one, it's not available, right? I lost the access to it. It has been corrupted and basically disappeared. But right now, like, thankfully, I have the copy of it. I have. So right now, I'm able to restore it. I could restore it to the same location, right? But let's remember the assumption that my main organization is not available, and I'm in like very massive need to restore the data to different locations. How are we gonna do that? It's quite simple. It's quite straightforward. There is like a restore button, so it's quite easy to follow and the steps that need to be taken in order to restore the data. So let's restore the latest copy. I have done this backup task only once during today's meeting, so I have only one version that can be restored. But if such backup would be running over and over again, the list would be of available versions, so I can decide how far I can get back in time. I know it's basically impossible to get back in time, but thanks to GitProtect, you can. And yeah, as I said, you can download your Jira instance to your device to make the manual import, or you can restore the data to the same location, to the same destination, or you can select other organization, like different organization. That will be this one. And yeah, let's start now. As you can see, this specific Jira instance is still empty. It will be empty in a second. I have no projects. And as you can see here, the restore task in progress. And I'm quite sure that right now everything is on Atlassian site, on Atlassian, and yeah, it's and quite soon the same Jira instance, however restored to different location, will be accessible. And there we go. And right now, Jira is like Atlassian is responsible for like importing process. So we automate the backup process and also we automate the restore process. And basically, right now we can only sit and wait until my Jira is accessible again. It will be in a second, hopefully. And yeah, like this is perfect time to ask you guys if you have any questions, because we are almost running out of time. So yeah, guys, do you have any questions?
I have a couple questions.
Yep.
So when you say that you can restore to different platforms, is that compatible with like all kinds of cloud technologies? So if you had AWS, can you restore to AWS or instances or?
Yep. Like basically, for example, if you host your Jira instance, for example, in your own cloud environment, yes, you can. GitProtect basically supports it to like the restore process. It's supported in also that scenario. But when it comes to like when it comes to like destination, the final destination of restore process, it always has to be Jira, right?
Okay. And how often are there release updates?
Oh, this is a good question. Quite often, to be specific. As I said, right now we are working on ability to make the granular restore. So to let our users to select what data will be restored and what data won't be restored. And as I said, it will be released around mid of June, and previous update has been done like 3 weeks ago. So let's say we release some improvements, some updates every 1 or 2 months.
Okay. Does anybody else?
And in the meantime, and the price is already there. And I have like clear confirmation from Atlassian that the import has been done successfully, so I can be sure that the instance that I lost the access to has been restored to different to different account. There we go. So guys, feel free to ask me anything, unless you don't have any questions. That's equally fine. We will just wait, I would say 1 minute more until any question appears.
Oh, darn, we lost Sean. I was going to have him ask something.
Oh, I got to run. Thank you for.
Okay. For those of you who are local to the area, yeah, we will be having an in-person event either in June or July. So that's what's upcoming. And thank you very much for the presentation. It was really interesting.
Pleasure is mine. It was great pleasure to discussing with you. And yeah, have a great afternoon. Have a great rest of the week, and stay safe.
Okay. Thank you, everyone, for attending.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.